Hi,
Hey,
and we're back.
Prince Ali Fabulous.
Okay.
Prince Abubu.
Yes, I think it's
Ababa.
time to bid adieu. What does he say? Farewell to Prince Abubu. Yeah,
Yes.
so
It's
good.
time.
It is time. Wow. Well,
Time.
it's time we talk about the elephant in the room. This is crazy. I mean, from
Crazy.
the minute this
Crazy, crazy.
announcement was made to this very moment that we're recording this, this has been occupying so much space in my brain. I'm fascinated and shook still by it.
Same. Shooketh.
So news dropped a couple days ago. First thing in the morning. I think it was Thursday in the morning. It's like 8 a.m. or something,
It was
super
literally like
early.
at 8:30 a.m. It was like a very weird. I like just opened my phone and I was like, is this real? Like, is
Yeah.
this real or fake? And then I like messaged you immediately.
Yeah, I had
It's
to
like,
see. I was like, oh, it's literally from the Disney account. Okay, this is crazy. Because at first,
yeah.
it looked literally like, because the concept art is so kind of like
AI.
blurry, I was
Yeah,
like,
it's
this is
so
fake.
vague.
Yeah.
I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah. Anyway, we should just name it instead of just talking around it.
Oh, I guess so.
So, Disney is building a seventh global theme park in Abu Dhabi. Crazy.
Abu Dhabi.
Crazy just to
It is
say
so
it.
crazy. It's
First
so
announcement in
crazy.
a generation. First time that they've announced a new one since 2010 when they announced Shanghai,
Shanghai, yeah.
which is crazy.
This
So
was
many.
not on my 2025 bingo card, to be
No,
honest.
no. It seems in some
Right? Like,
ways that it came together really quickly or unexpectedly. I'm amazed that they kept it under wraps like this.
I guess.
Obviously, there
I
have
mean,
been rumors and rumblings and it's been in
since
discussions for years, but
yeah,
like,
I remember there's been art like artwork that's like been surfacing for like years that I've seen, and it's been like very unclear if it was real, but I remember it honestly gave Epic Universe vibes. It had like the hotel in the park, and it looked like it was like kind of like Aladdin's castle, like the castle in
mm-hmm.
Aladdin's vibes, like the
Yeah,
palace.
yes,
And that was
Agrabah.
like the hotel. Yeah, it was like very Agrabah, and it was like official Disney concept art, but like it was like years ago, and it was like a like Middle Eastern Disney theme park, and I think that was probably like the first pass. Apparently, this has been in talks since like 2016, 2017, but
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
crazy.
So much to discuss. I will say I mean, we will get into it like hardcore, but I will be just say from the top, and I'm going to just speak for myself. Like, I have really kind of like run the full range of emotions around this. I went from like initial just shock that it was even announced at all and like excitement, to be honest. Like, I was just like, wow, this is just really cool. Like, it's how many times in our lifetime is Disney going to build another brand new theme park in a new destination in the world? It's a big
Yeah,
deal. So I was just like, wow, this is so exciting. And then, almost immediately, like, fear, disappointment, anger, upset, whatever, because of the sort of just knee jerk reaction to sort of like cultural issues.
yeah,
And then honestly, with like more research, more information, and like greater understanding, and some really good, like nuanced conversations that I've seen from other people online, people who are like locals on the ground. And I'm talking like people who are like LGBTQ people in, the greater like Middle East and kind of like crossroads of the world, as it were. I'm like, I have come full circle on it now, and I have a much more like balanced and nuanced understanding. And the big takeaway I have is like, as much as it pains me as a tourist during tourist season to admit, I'm not actually the main character of the universe. So not everything needs to be done to like my satisfaction and specifications.
yeah.
So I've
I
definitely
think
come like a long way with it. But
Yeah, no, I feel like I've had a similar emotional experience with the whole thing. Like, I definitely, like, when I first saw it, I was like so excited, honestly. Like, when I messaged you, I was like, oh my God, like, this is happening. It's like
yeah,
a futuristic Disney park. Like, that's amazing. It looks
yeah,
incredible. And then again, similar to like the way you went through your emotions, I was just like, oh, wait, like, no. Like,
yeah,
I was like really I was upset, and then you of course you end up seeing discourse and all of this stuff on the internet, and you're just like, "Oh shit, like Disney is like doing the wrong thing again." Like, just like especially for like of course like the LGBTQ plus community. It's just like it's tough because with a company that's literally built like has been built so much by that community, like by the Howard Ashmans, by like all of the LGBTQ plus cast members and all of this, like
All the way back to Disneyland.
all the way
Bob
back
Gurr,
to
for God's
Disneyland.
sake, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So like, of course, like the history of Disney is so rooted in like that community, and it's a community that's really like stood up for Disney, and it's always been like the pinnacle, like pillar of Disney. It's been like hard, kind of a tough pill to swallow. But I think like, again, after I've done like more research, obviously like with everything, there's like a balance. Like there's pros and cons, of course, and like there's like little bits of silver linings to the whole thing. But of course, you know, I guess it's just something we're gonna have to like literally wait and see how it goes and what happens. But yeah, of course, like everybody's allowed to like feel how they feel, and you know,
Of
it's a
course.
tricky situation.
Yeah, I would just encourage everyone in the discourse online to like take a second before they
Hmm.
just like spew stuff out in the world. I've seen so many just like really unfortunate displays of, to put it very gently, just sort of like myopic, short sighted, like not well developed, not well researched, like broad, painting with a broad brush opinion throwing out there in the world. And it's like, that's the nicest way I could say people being straight up just like racist, Islamophobic, like
Yeah,
culturally
yeah.
insensitive. And it's just like, none of that is okay. But
Yeah, and
yeah,
I think to like your point, like I mean, there is an LGBTQ plus community in the Middle East. Like, of course, there are. Like, so I mean, yes, of course, the laws there are not friendly towards people, but like these people exist everywhere. Like, I
yeah,
mean,
they're not
they're
friendly in
there.
Florida either, honey. And we
Exactly. I
still
mean,
go there.
yes, exactly, exactly. So
So, glass
I mean, yeah,
houses. Yeah.
let's get into it. Like, so
Yeah. So where to begin? So we were talking a little bit
what
about
is
the
it?
history and like the development of this. So
Yeah.
it seems like this really has been, you know, there have been conversations happening for a decade or so around this. I referenced with you before we started recording, there's a really solid article in the New York Times about this, and they had a call with Bob Iger. It was brief. They said in the article it was like a brief call, and they didn't give a lot of detail, but there are some good direct quotes in there. And one of the things that came from it is that they were talking about that he was at like a global summit in 2018,
Mhm.
and he met with some leadership from the UAE, and he described it as like them making an impassioned plea to him to bring
Yeah.
Disney
Yeah.
to their parks or to their
Yes.
like region. So it's very interesting that, and Bob Iger then goes on to say, I'll be honest, it was not even close to the top of our list for consideration at the time. But he has done, and the Disney company has done a lot of like research, and especially just recently, which is why I say that it seems like it kind of came together quickly. It was like little blips here and there for years, and then all of
Hmm.
a sudden, all at once. He said that they went there 3 times in the last 9 months, and in that time we're like, okay, yes, let's like pull the trigger on this and actually go for it. So it kind of did come together quickly, even though the conversations had been happening for a while. It's like, I think the decision to actually like announce it and go for it seems like maybe it came together in the last like year, which is
I mean,
crazy.
it probably did, and I'm sure, like with the added pressure of Universal and Epic Universe coming into the picture, like I'm sure this felt like the right time, and like Disney needed a big announcement. And I mean, I get it, like the financial implications for the company. I mean, the Miral Group is the one who made the deal with Disney, very much like the Oriental Land Company in Tokyo. They will be the ones that like fund it and run it, and like all of the costs will be not on Disney, it'll be on this company. And basically, like it's gonna just be additional money for Disney. Like there's really no like risk in it in a lot of ways. This company has already like built a lot of themed experiences in the UAE. They've like done like a Warner Brothers theme park. They've done like Ferrari Land, all of this within that like area of Yas Island within Abu Dhabi. So like I think I read something that basically said that once the UAE runs out of oil, I don't know how accurate this is or like if this is ever going to happen in like the near future, but like they're really wanting to use that area as like a tourist destination for everyone, for the world. Like it is a global hub currently. And
Mm-hmm.
it's obviously with Dubai and with these cities like growing exponentially, like they are like becoming tourist destinations all on their own, and that's like really what they're trying to do with this is just like build it up. So this, of course, the Miral Group, like I'm sure they did want to like plead with Disney to like get them there. Like I'm sure this could really have a huge impact on their economy. So yeah, I get it, but
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. I trying to figure out like which direction to go with this because there are so many ways to like
yeah.
talk about it. But I think first of all, side note, it is cool that there are existing theme parks already there too. I think that's probably was also attractive to Disney that there was like proof of
Hmm.
concept already. It's like, oh well,
Yeah.
there's already a Warner Brothers theme park there, which I found out is completely indoors. Did you know that? I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's hot there.
It's wildly hot.
It's
Yeah, it's the
hot.
middle of the desert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm curious to see how they're going to bring kind of their like, I mean, Disney's used to designing theme parks in hot locations, obviously, but like it's going to be interesting to see what they do to like, I mean, that's like a new level of hot. They're like
New level of hot. What is like?
in the
What are the
desert.
average? What are the average temperatures there? I feel like we need to Google it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm very curious to know like what is it giving over in the UAE? Just like, I mean, we're in summertime now, so it's like May.
Honey, in May the average is 101. Oh my god. August the average is 107.
So we're
Ugh.
talking like Palm Springs, but even like worse. Yeah.
Holy shit. That is crazy.
Yeah, no wonder it's all inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So very curious to see what they do with that. Um, so steps back for a second. I did see just a little bit of this is speculation, but I guess this is just like based on, the industry standards. So the guess is that like they have announced that this is going to be a quote unquote castle park and that it's going to be similar scale to their other castle parks in
Hmm.
their global portfolio and that it is expected to be Disney didn't say this, but per that New York Times article that I referenced, they were saying that like give or take the $5 billion range to build out something of that scale. As you said, it's going to be completely funded by Miral and it will be creatively directed and operated by Disney Imagineering, but like basically Moral's like, here's your blank check, we're gonna throw all the
Hmm.
money at it and like you guys have fun. So from just like pure, company perspective, like why would Disney not do it? Obviously, it's like literally like
Totally.
low risk, high reward. It's like a no brainer. It's like, of
Yeah.
course you're gonna do
And
that.
it's free research and development for the Imagineers onto like with developing new technologies,
Exactly,
new
especially since they love
attractions.
to
I mean,
copy paste around the world.
exactly.
They can be like, oh, this worked over there. Wonderful. We'll bring it to this. And then you also think, since we were speaking of proof of concept, like you referenced Oriental Land Company with Tokyo, it's like Tokyo is like widely regarded as like the fan
The
favorite
best.
in like, Disney's
Tokyo
portfolio.
being there, it is the best. Like hands down. Like it's incredible. Like
Yeah. So
I
like
mean,
what's not to love? Like they could do the same thing. They could create this
yeah.
gorgeous and I feel like they are already again, they've released so little details, so little official details, but they have like certain talking points and phrases that they've used repeatedly that are coming up in little snippets of interviews and articles and stuff. And I feel like they've repeatedly said that this is going to be like technologically advanced, like pushing the limits, whatever,
Hmm.
which they when they're talking about like why the UAE, they're talking about how yes, it has this like cultural history and everything, but I mean, Josh Tomorrow literally used the phrase like aggressively forward thinking, like they're really focused on like the future and like building these. I mean, they have
Yeah.
these spectacular skyscrapers, they have crazy technology. They use the term oasis in the desert, like a lot of that like imagery that they're trying to give. So I really feel like they're trying to make it seem like this like world class, like spectacularly futuristic. So, I mean, if Disney gets all of that to play with and they don't have to risk financially to do it, that's the thing. They're 60, whatever, or 30, as we
Billions.
discussed on previous
30
episodes, like,
domestically, right?
yeah, is not impacted whatsoever by this. This
No.
is like not part of that. So it's like, exactly, like, why would they not do it? Just go
Why would
for
they
it.
not do it?
Right.
I mean, they kind of like literally have to. Like as a business, like you kind of have to go for it.
Well, exactly. They are literally like legally, their obligation as a business is to like create shareholder value and make money. And as we
Correct.
saw in the stock
The
market,
stock market, yeah,
after this
honey,
announcement happened, through the roof. So,
yeah,
I mean, as much as like, maybe social backlash or, online community has like said, their feelings about it, like, I mean, Disney's laughing all the way to the bank, honey. They made
yeah,
the right decision for their company. So,
For sure.
Interesting
It,
stuff. Like this is, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. You go.
I was going to say that the UAE thing, so this is just, one of those phrases like I referenced, they keep using certain phrases over and over in their talking points. And it is really interesting to me. One of the insights from Bob Iger in that New York Times article was that he was saying that, like, for every one guest that visits a Disney park in the world, their research indicates that there's 10 more that would like to be able to visit one but can't. And then
But
he went on to
can't.
say
Yeah.
that people think that it's like money that is the issue that's holding people back. But he said, really, accessibility is like a big piece of it, because there's huge parts of the world that are just not geographically close to Disney parks. And I did not know this, but this is one of the talking points that they've said over and over again, that the UAE in this destination is a 4-hour flight away from 1/3 of the
From
world's
Yeah,
population.
that's what I've heard as well.
And specifically, they're talking about India and India's growing middle class, and the fact that Mumbai is 3-hour flight from Abu Dhabi versus like the next closest park to them is Hong Kong, which is like 6.5 hours. So it's
Yeah,
like that's a huge market for
huge
them
difference.
that's like
Yeah.
right there. And that's why they keep using the phrase. They've talked about the UAE being the crossroads of the world and this oasis and like this big, cross cultural thing, because they have like, the Horn of Africa, they have the Middle East, they have, Southeast Asia, they have Asia, they have Europe. Like all of that is all converging in this one area right there. I mean, it just
If
really
you look at a
does. The
map, it
more you
truly
think about
is
it,
like the middle of the world.
yeah.
It is.
So seems
It's
like a
crazy.
slam dunk for them. It's like, yeah, go for it.
Sure. Well, sure, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, the UAE is also apparently, per this New York Times article, the largest global airline hub in the entire world.
It
So,
is. Yeah.
like, there you go.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess all of that is well and good. Obviously, the UAE has their set of laws. So it's like it's interesting. It's like I see like that this is like a global hub, and that like yeah, like there's so many parts of the world that has access to it, but like they still have their laws that they have to abide to as like a country. And it's like there's going to be so many people from all over the world that like have to like obey these laws when they're visiting. So it's just like I don't know. There's a lot of talk that, and we kind of discussed this earlier, but like that like maybe the push for Disney in the UAE is like strategic in the fact that like maybe that's what they need to help, move their laws progressively forward. And I feel like that's probably a discussion that maybe we don't know that's probably happened. Like Bob Iger is not stupid. Like he knows. I'm not saying that he's a saint either, and that is like he's like an advocate for like, you know, LGBTQ rights or anything, but like, I'm sure he knows that this is going to have like some sort of backlash. So I'm sure like discussions have potentially been had with the Miral group and like with the UAE. But yeah, maybe I mean, this is like a very like I don't even want to say it's like a silver lining, but like maybe this is like what the UAE needs to push them forward. However, then I'm like thinking, but how long would that take? Like how long is it going to take down the road for like laws to be changed and for the mindset of the people in general in that area like to change and to move forward?
Yeah. So also some interesting insight into that. We were talking about like proof of concept and these other theme parks being built there. You were saying about, them really wanting to position themselves as this global tourist destination. And they certainly have already begun to do so. Their tourism has really increased in the past, even just decades specifically.
Mhm.
But interestingly, apparently some of the kind of like broader rules, regs, laws, policies in UAE have shifted to be more, I would not call it like progressive or inclusive, but
Yeah.
I would just say like more like, I don't know, up to date. I don't know if that's the correct way to phrase it, but so they've softened on like women's rights and equality in recent years, like since 2018, 2020, like that has started to come around. They have started to like find ways, just little slivers here and there to kind of peel back on some more traditional and I would say like restrictive laws and policies. And literally it referenced in this article that it was in response to wanting to make it a more attractive global tourism hub. And it was in order to help global companies like Universal, Disney, Warner Brothers, whatever, be willing to come there and spend money there. So I do think that there already is indication that there is like willingness for flexibility there, that there is willingness for them to say, okay, we're starting to like soften on this a
Yeah.
little bit, like we're gonna do
But
this
also at the same
to
time,
play
it's like,
ball.
let's be real. Death penalty is still like a thing for like gay people.
Yes. Yeah. So
Like,
other thoughts. So this was another thing. And I think that this was like my knee jerk reaction, right? Like, of like, well, I would never set foot there because like I'm going to be executed on site in the town square. Talk to, friends who have traveled the world, friends who have been to, the Middle East, places that have, these sort of like colonial era laws that interestingly, a lot of them like, you know, date back to when these countries were under European colonial rule. So it's not even necessarily fair to position these as being like, oh, well, it's an Islamic majority country and that's where these rules come from. It's like a lot of those are like European like
fair.
holdovers from the past. So that's one thing that I just wanted to say, like references like people being like, oh, well, this is because of like, the cultural difference there and because, these are like Muslim majority countries. I'm like, it's not necessarily because of that. And it's just interesting to note. But also in talking with people who have like traveled to the Middle East, and been to these countries that have these, fairly restrictive laws in the books, the reality is like, especially as like white Western tourists, and I understand that all of this is coming with like all the privilege attached to that, but as like white Western tourists going to Disney property and being on like a Disney theme park ground, like you'd probably be fine. The thing is like, the other thing is these laws are not specific to, I mean, yes, like it applies to LGBTQ people, but applies to all people. So like public displays of affection from anybody, not okay. So like a straight
Yes, not
couple
okay.
making out somewhere or whatever also is going to get you, in trouble. So it's like,
Locked up.
yeah. So again, I'm not saying that to like excuse it, but again, it's just to show that there's like much more nuance and subtlety and history and context to all of this than just the
Sure.
initial knee jerk of like, well, gay people are going to be stoned to death if they show up there. Like that's not really the case. It's like there's so much like more to it there. Also, interestingly, and this is something I had to do a little bit of research into myself before I could like, and that, to be clear, I don't feel in any way like an expert. I'm absolutely not, but like even just so that I could talk about it a little bit, so I had to understand for myself. But I saw, so as you said, LGBTQ people exist everywhere in the world. In my old job, we used to say that like there's not a table that LGBTQ people don't sit at. We're in every culture, in every country,
Yeah.
on every continent, in every race and ethnicity in the world. We're everywhere. Okay, that includes like Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Muslim, whatever, like anywhere, any culture. And people who are from that community have said firsthand, I've seen discourse online talking about like, yeah, I'm LGBTQ and I live in, Southeast Asia, whatever. And what they were saying is that like, this is going to be so much more accessible to them because of the way that the visa and passport structure works with the cross like cultural arrangements between those countries versus the United States. So say you live somewhere, in Southeast Asia, it's much harder to get like visa and entry into the United States. Say someone who lived there wanted to come to Disneyland or Disney World or something. It's much more challenging than it is for them to go to somewhere like the UAE. So I looked this up. A lot of Southeast Asian countries, including Thailand and Malaysia, have visa-free entry into the UAE. And then other ones like Indonesia offer visa on arrival. So it is much, much easier for people who live in these countries, which, as we said, that's like a third of the world's population, to be able to access this now than it would be to just say, well, why don't you just come to the States then? You can be free or whatever. And what they were saying is like, look, these laws are these laws. They've existed here and in other countries for generations. They live, with this and under this expectation and culturally already anyway. So it's not like oppressive to be like, we're going to go here and then we're going to be, having to like watch our back. It's like, this is the world that we live in. And now at least I can actually like enter this country without having to bend through extra hoops of like getting this visa or this specific passport, whatever, to go there as opposed to coming to the States or something. So it's like, I'm just trying to remind myself again, I'm not the main character of the universe. Do I feel comfortable going to the Middle East and going to this park or like holding my husband's hand there? No, I don't. But that's okay. It's not about me. It's not for me to do. And like Disney is a global company whose job is to like expand, make money, bring their stories to like a greater
Sure.
population of the world. And if you want to put the silver lining on it and you want to talk about how it may helpfully, usher in positive change, bring some loosening of like these restrictive laws, it seems like there's room for that to happen. So again, I just think that there's like more nuance, there's more like to it there than just like, well, gay people are going to be like, executed on the spot if they go there. So I
Well,
guess I'll
sure.
never go.
Yeah. I'm sure there's much more nuance than that. Hun, your background in politics is really shining through. Look at you go.
I just want to, my real thing is like, honestly, I really just like, I saw a lot of just like really just culturally insensitive comments
Yeah.
online from people like, and I think it's really unfair. And so much of it is just such like a Western centric viewpoint. And yes, Disney is a quintessentially American company. Like that is, they have their pillars of inclusion and their values and stuff. There is literally a quote from Disney in this New York Times article. They had a spokesperson because they were referencing how, there's certain content and media that's not available in this market, that's not streaming on Disney Plus over there.
Lightyear banned.
Yep. And they literally said, we are respectful of the countries and cultures where we do business while always adhering to our own personal standards and values.
Sure.
Which I think is like, that's the best you can say. I mean, any individual country or any individual company needs to be able to, especially a huge global, like juggernaut like Disney, needs to be able to transcend left, right, conservative, liberal, blue, red, whatever, like, politics. Like they need to be able to exist and thrive. And that is, their proof is in the fact that the company is 102 years old now. You know what I mean? It's like their duty is to endure and to exist and to expand and make money and continue to bring their stories to the world. And this is how they're going to do it. And of course, I already heard Bob Iger using that same phrase that he used for Shanghai, which is like, it's going to be, yes.
Disney, it's, what is it? It's,
yeah, it's like
distinctly Disney
and like uniquely yeah, Emirati. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. All that is to say, I think that people just need to take like a little beat and do a little research with it. Again, I'm not trying to convince anybody, and not even myself. Like I still don't know that I like feel comfortable going. But
yeah, me
like,
too. I feel like I go back and forth still, like emotionally. And I think that's fine, and that's probably what's going to happen for a long time until we see like the outcome. But I am curious to know like how cast members are feeling right now. And like who are they going to send like in Imagineering, like in, because they also like loan cast members to go and work there sometimes. Like I'm curious to see how like all of this will play out, and like how especially LGBTQ plus cast members and women, even like how they're feeling about like what this is going to entail for them. I mean, apparently they're already hiring in Imagineering for like this specific project. Like they've been hiring new cast members. So I'm curious to see like what like the overall vibe in the company is right now. I'm sure it's probably a mixed bag, just like, we're explaining with our own emotions. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, my short-sighted, like my initial reaction that made me a little scared. And if I'm honest, there's still like a twinge of it that's in me, which is like, I just said, like, I'm really hoping that this is not like Disney's signaling to embrace like this broader swath of like cultural conservatism that we've seen across, domestic and internationally.
Exactly.
But to go back to what I said literally like 30 seconds ago, I'm like, I think that that's too short-sighted to think like that. Disney does not think about any individual, administration or political wind. It's like they're thinking, talk about the proverbial 4D chess and, into the future and all that. They're not thinking about like, oh, Trump's in office now, so we need to like signal that we're conservative. Like they're not doing that. But I will say it's like, mid-May and like, where's the Pride collection? By this time last year, they had announced it. So, like, where's the Pride collection? Because, like, your Disneyland Pride's coming up in a few weeks. So, like, where is it?
I know. And that's official, like, right? Like, Disneyland Pride is still happening, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, okay, tickets are sold. It's happening. The dates are out and announced. Like, it's going on.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
I know. I'm like,
but
listen.
Yeah, I haven't seen any merch come out or anything yet. Probably maybe because they're, like, gearing up for the 70th right now, too.
Yeah, we'll see. I will say I did see literally just this morning at time of recording, I opened my time hop and I saw that I was making content last year this very day about Disney announcing their Pride collection coming soon. So literally a year ago today, they announced that their Pride collection was coming out soon. So Hopefully, I even went on even step further. I went on the Disney store because, if you scroll down Disney store, they have like a
Yep.
coming soon and it shows like this
Yeah.
collection, this, da, da, da. It's not even
Nothing.
announced in the coming soon. And I'm like,
Dang.
well, how soon is it coming? Because it's
Hello.
already like mid-May. So where are we at?
Yeah.
Let
Do
me
they
give
still
you a
do?
clue. Purple's a fall color. It's the middle of May.
It's the middle of May. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it's so good.
Do they still do gay days in Orlando?
I do
Remember
think
that
they
used to
do,
be a thing?
although it's not affiliated with Disney. That's like different
Oh,
from,
okay. Got it.
yeah, that's separate from like Disneyland Pride, which is like a real, actual Disney sanctioned
Mhm.
and sponsored like real event. Gay Days is just like a cultural thing that like Disney is obviously aware of that happens, but it's not in any way like officially affiliated with TWDC.
Yeah. Going back to Abu Dhabi. So like looking like
Yeah,
we
let's
didn't really
talk
talk
about it.
about like concept art or anything, but like what are
Yes, I want to
you
get into the
I mean,
deets.
yeah, I want to like talk about like a little bit of the deets. Like how are you feeling about the castle? Like it's literally going to be a very
Glass onion.
futuristic glass onion. Like how are you feeling about that?
Literally, that's what it gave, though, honestly. I was like, I really
It
feel like
did.
it looks like the glass
It
onion. I'm
looks
like,
like
hello?
a glass onion. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. Like I'm excited for the prospects of like a futuristic castle park. Like I
Yeah.
think it could be very exciting, very cool. It's kind of giving Epcot. I'm like, so is it just Epcot? Like
Yeah, or it's like the
is
whole
that the vibe?
park is going to be like Tomorrowland, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, like futuristic. So there's very little detail, but what they did say is that it is officially going to be a quote unquote castle park. So it will have, that.
They're
And then,
still deciding on IP, of course.
yes, yeah, they're definitely going to have to like wait. But that they were going to have, I'm looking at my notes over here. So full scale property on par with Disney's other castle parks. Expect entertainment themed accommodation, so aka like resorts, dining
Hotels, yeah.
and retail experiences, and then quote modernized versions of classic Disney rides and new attractions quote tailored to the climate and local culture. So pretty
So
interesting.
it's so interesting too. I feel like they're probably as much as I want them to build like Aladdin everything, I feel like they're probably going to stay away from that because that's low key kind of maybe not like socially okay.
Yeah.
Aladdin was very like
Well, I don't
loosely
know
based.
though, because I mean, in their own marketing, they literally the first
It
announcement, the
is like
first
a
post
whole
literally
new
says a
world.
whole new world. So I'm like,
That's true. That's true. I mean, they better. I mean, Aladdin is literally the best.
I mean, I could also see them doing a little bit of both, dipping into Aladdin and then also doing some like new original IP, much like Sinbad's Voyage in Tokyo, where they're like, oh, we'll do
My
something that's
God.
like Middle East,
Literally
but
one of
like
my
original.
favorite rides ever.
Yeah, so good. We
Remember
watched
I made you
all
watch that
17 and a
movie?
half minutes of it.
It's literally so long. It's like a
Yeah.
20-minute boat ride. It's so good though. The song is so it's just so good. It gets in your ear and you sing it all day.
I mean, who's to say they won't literally copy paste that and bring it over?
It's,
They could, right? I mean,
they
why
could.
not,
They
right? They do
could.
it all the time.
Bring Shandu.
Yeah, so
Bitch, I
cute.
wish they would bring Shandu to the American parks. Oh my god, he's so cute.
I want them to bring Duffy and friends.
He's just literally like a baby Raja. He's so
Yeah,
cute.
I think they totally could.
What's not to
Yeah,
love?
I would say so. If I had to guess, because we in looking at like other theme parks around the world, and I know you and I have sat there and just queened out over that Disney Maps book that I have. That it's like
Oh
all the
yeah,
different
I
parks
love
and
a Disney
stuff.
map. I love a concept art map. Like that
So
is
good.
literally my favorite thing to
So
look at.
good. But like, how different parks around the world place emphasis on different lands. Like some of them are really like focused, blown out here and there, whatever. Like I would say Disneyland Paris is like they went all in on their Frontierland. It's like very
Frontierland, yeah,
cool. And like
yeah.
I
I
feel
think
like
they probably like. I feel like in Paris they're probably like romanticizing like the American Wild
yeah,
West.
like
You
the
know,
old
like
West.
in your the old West in America.
Yeah.
Like,
So I don't know. I'm like, I could see them really making this like the Tomorrowland Park, like really going in on being like, we're gonna do
but
futurism and
I
technology.
mean, I think that's all well and good. But like you see, we see here like that Tomorrowland is like no longer futuristic in America. So like I understand that obviously Abu Dhabi is like very, very ahead of the curve, but like in 30 years, is it still going to be futuristic? Who knows?
If they're paying
Who
for it,
knows?
probably.
I mean, probably. You're right. You're right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, if they're
But
paying to keep it updated and, in line with like the times and stuff, maybe, I don't know.
then maybe. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you can speak to this because you've been to Tokyo, but like, I feel like, you know, the impression that I get from overseas is that like Tokyo's
They're
is
updating.
it's beautiful, spotless, sparkling, still top of the line, still top notch,
Yeah.
despite that park being built in like the 70s.
The
It's like,
80s.
yeah, the early
Yeah, it was
80s.
like 81.
Yeah. So it's like,
No, and obviously, like we see from Tokyo that they are like knocking down shit and rebuilding. Like they just announced their new Adventureland. They're rebuilding their Space Mountain. I mean, they are. So, I mean, unlike the US parks, no, they are like, we're going to
yeah, that
keep
they're
this
letting
shit
crumble
state of
into
the art.
dust.
Yeah, they're like, we are going to keep this shit up to date. I mean, little questionable on the IP that they're choosing for Adventureland, but you know what?
God.
I have faith in it. I have faith in it because Tokyo can do no wrong in my eyes. And obviously, like classic attractions, but like no, that's like the third castle park in the world. Like I feel like it's not an American park. They have the freedom, I feel like, in my opinion, to do whatever they want. Like if they wanted to knock shit down and rebuild, I'm here for it there. Like
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, like, meanwhile, over in the States, I'm like, I just got back from Disney. I'm like, damn, you'd be hard pressed to ride a single ride with animatronics on it where one of them isn't like eyeball
Yep.
flicking, glitching out. So it's like, yeah, like I said, crumbling into dust.
Eyeball flick.
Truly. I'm like, honey, oh
Yeah.
my God. Anyway,
So in the concept art though, I feel like it's gonna be like a cool, like they're obviously not gonna have like a main street or whatever. I think their version of a main street is probably gonna be like probably like Celestial Park vibes, maybe like just like open area
you don't
park
think it's
with
going
the
to be like
castle on the
Tokyo where it'll be
water.
like covered? They'll do like a bazaar where it's like covered.
Maybe,
Because think about the heat,
perhaps,
110 degrees.
perhaps.
Like, I feel like they're going to want
Maybe.
something where
I
they
mean, I
can.
think that a lot of the lands around the hub area will probably be indoors. Like there will probably be large indoor lands and attractions for sure. But it seems to me like the like castle area and like the hub area, I feel like that it looked like it was outside in the concept art.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Wonder how
I don't
they
know.
pull off their traditional like hub and spoke model when it's centered on a waterfront like that too, because it's going to be on Yas Island, and they've made a big thing about being like, and it's
Well,
going to be anchored by this gorgeous waterfront and let us tell stories like never before. I'm like, I'm sure that they're going to bring some version of like what a world of color, whatever,
oh
to the
yeah. Oh my
waterfront
god.
there
How
as like
cool.
their fireworks water whatever show. So
Well, looking at the concept art, it looked like the castle is right on the waterfront. And then
right,
there's like paths and stuff all around it, I'm sure. So, like, there probably will be a show on the waterfront. And then, like, in front of the castle, it looked like that would be like the hub area where you would break off into like the different lands.
yeah,
It honestly did kind of give like Epic Universe the way they do like a set celestial park and then the lands like coming off of that. That's kind of what it looked like to me, which I think could be cool. I think Disney will probably do it better. So who knows? Probably.
yep.
They
And
probably
by
won't
Disney
build
you
it
mean
next
the
to
Moral Group? Yeah,
the Morale. Yes, exactly. They probably won't be building it next to a water power plant, a water
yeah.
cleaning power plant. So
I
maybe
mean,
you won't
maybe
get
I don't
that
know what they
building.
got going
Oh
over there.
shite!
Yeah, I don't know what they have going on over on Yas Island, but interesting stuff. I also saw Josh Tomorrow do an interview with CNN where he was talking about another thing that they're really excited to bring to this park is like the gamification of everything. So like they were talking
Mm,
about how Disney just made this big investment in Epic Games last year. And
right.
at the time, people were like, what does this even mean? And now, of course, we have context for it, just like how they mysteriously announced, like, I don't know, in the last 3 or 4 months, I don't know if it was Josh Amaro or someone else within the company said, like, oh, we have plans in the works that you don't even know about. We haven't even teased. Well, spoiler alert, here they are. But I think they were talking about how they want to like bring this sort of game culture because it's something that's really popular with Gen Alpha. And we're talking about a park that's, at least 7-10 years away from like opening its gates still. So by that time, Gen Alpha will be in their prime and like, excited to go to theme
Mm-hmm.
parks. But like, game and gamification culture is going to be integrated into the experience. They were talking about everything from like booking your tickets, booking your hotel stay to like going into the parks and being there. It's going to be this like you can gain points or like, prizes or whatever, and they're going to like integrate that into the experience. Be interesting to see. I mean, that seems something that's like kind of unique, and I could see them trying to translate them to other parks in the world if
Yeah.
it's
It's
proven
interesting.
successful.
they made that announcement about Epic Games last year, but I feel like we haven't really heard much since. And then I think my initial reaction when I saw the concept art for Abu Dhabi was literally like, oh, it looks like the concept art that they put out for Epic Games. I'm like, I wonder if this is like that now. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Because like in that concept art, it was literally like a crystal castle in the middle, and then outside of that castle, there were like the lands off of that, which I guess were all in the metaverse. So, but yeah, it was the new concept art was really it was giving that.
Yeah, it is interesting. I saw some, how do I say, cynical rumors, but to me it makes sense.
Cynical rumors.
The new fragrance by Dior.
But yeah,
Yeah. No, but I saw some rumors about this, and to me they make sense, which were that like it's interesting that in the concept art it's so vague, like there's no immediately identifiable like
well, if you
that's
look
Space
really
Mountain,
close,
that's Big Thunder Mountain, that's whatever. It's like they said that they left it vague on purpose in case that things fall through and Disney needs to pull
well,
out the last
sure.
minute and be like, we're out of here.
Well,
There's no like, but you said
did
you
you
were going to build
know?
this whatever. I'm like, okay.
You know that Universal was supposed to build a theme park in Dubai that never happened. So I do feel
Mm,
like that is also like something that's like a very real possibility, is that like this might never happen. But it happened with Universal. I think COVID was probably a factor too, but they announced a park coming to Dubai in like 8 or 9 or something, and then they literally started construction and like they built the arch and everything. It's like there, and then they pulled out in like 2000 like 16. Oh wait, so it was before COVID, but they pulled out in like 2016. I don't know why, but it's like a very real possibility.
yeah, I mean, it
But
does seem kind
also,
of like volatile because obviously this came together really quickly too. It was like conversations, and then all of a sudden, okay, yeah, now we're gonna do it. We're pulling the plug.
yeah,
Here you
yeah.
go. So,
Um, but I feel like in the concept art, you could kind of see like glimpses of like Tron vibes.
sort of.
You could kind of see like there looked like a Beauty and the Beast land from Tokyo, kind of like it was like that silhouette. There was Living with the Land. No, just kidding. Yeah, Journey into the Imagination with Figment.
With Figment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. All your faves.
all my
Yeah.
faves.
Hmm. Yep. Now, how
Yeah.
long until they like take something, from this and they bring, I don't know, like a preview center to the Morocco Pavilion in Epcot, which is also like limping along on its last legs.
Oh, I was gonna say, I mean, maybe that'll rejuvenate it in some ways because I think it needs a little help right now, a little TLC.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's struggling. It's like there's nothing there anymore. It's like such a
I
bummer.
know, and it used to be like it used to be my favorite pavilion, but now that
Yeah,
I
because
think
it
it's
was
like
like so
nothing
immersive, and
there.
now it's just
Yeah,
literally
so
like,
immersive. Like there
what
was
is
like
this?
literally like the street vendors like all in the back alley. Like it was so fun. It was like
Yeah.
very Aladdin.
Yep. Sugar dates and figs.
Sugar dates and pistachios.
Yeah. Pretty necklace for a
Would a
pretty
lady like a
lady.
necklace?
Hush
Lovely
fish.
necklace for a lovely lady. Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm really very sorry.
Yeah. God. Wow. That movie
God, I
really
love
is so
Jasmine.
good.
Really eats so good.
Yeah. And it's perfect timing. It aligns with the Disney treasure, which is all themed
It
to
sure does.
Aladdin.
Wow.
Can I call you Al, or how about Din? Or how about just Laddie?
Laddie, here, boy. Here, Laddie.
Yeah.
So
So
good.
good. Yep.
Robin Williams, icon.
Rip. Anyway, I think I've come a ways with it. I feel broadly, honestly, still excited, and I am gonna like excitedly like follow the progress. I'm gonna want to see more concept art as
Sure.
it comes out. As soon as it does open, 5-10 years from now, I'm gonna be gagged to see like the
The
visuals come
castle.
together, the ride POVs, like all. I think it's awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think on the whole, it is a net positive. My personal feelings notwithstanding, like, of course, yes, it is like a bummer in some senses, but I have to remember, like, it's not about, you know, me. Not everything needs to be my desires and wants, even though it
Or
should
does it?
be.
Or
Yeah.
does it?
I mean, it is still tourist season, honey. Don't forget.
It
The
is.
world is
It still
mine.
is.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I agree completely. And I think I'm just excited at the prospects of like the research and development aspect and like what that means for domestic parks. I think we could see like a lot of great things come into Disneyland forward and even to Walt Disney World.
Totally.
To Kidneyland.
To Kidney
And
Land.
here's Tinklebell.
Yeah. Look, it's Walt Kidney.
Look, there's Walt Kidney. Hello. Welcome to Kidneyland. This is
So
Tinkerbell.
ridiculous.
So good.
Amazing. Well, on that note, let's take a little break
Let's do it.
and we'll be right back.
BRB.
And we're back
And we're back. And it's time
for our
favorite
favorite.
Drink or drag, honey.
Well,
Okay.
drag me, daddy. What do you got for me, queen?
All right, well, we briefly talked about Tokyo and like all the announcements there happening to their Adventureland, all the new IP.
Yes.
However, I had basically heard them say, like, yeah, we're doing all these updates, but like, we're not touching Splash Mountain and like that area. Like, we love Splash Mountain, basically. So, my drink or drag to you is drink or drag the fact that like they are not updating their Splash Mountain to Tiana's. Like, what do you think about that? Drink or drag it?
Yeah. It's difficult cultural waters to navigate.
Correct. I just gave you the hard one. Honey.
I know. I think especially overseas where, Splash Mountain is like a quintessentially American story. And part of what made it so painful here in the States is because it is like folded into our cultural history, however painful and checkered and challenging it is. They don't have that attachment or struggle with it over there. And
well,
then
to them, I agree. It's probably like, oh, we just see like a bunch of cute critters.
Cute animals.
Cute
Exactly.
animals.
Like I
Yeah,
was going to
yeah.
say, I do think that like a big part of the appeal is that like there's a lot of just sort of like cute and cuddly, kind of the
And
kawaii
they
of it
love
all.
that.
And
Yeah.
that's, I think, like why it's like resonates so much. And it's interesting because we even talked about this at the time when Splash was rethemed to Tiana's. It's like they tried to like bring some of that into Tiana's with like the creation of all these new characters. There's like a little turtle and a frog, obviously, and a raccoon and a bear and an armadillo and all this shit. So I guess I understand it. So with that sense, then I'm gonna not drag it, which I guess means that I have to drink to it. That's a very hard like justification. I'll do like the tiniest baby toast.
Oh my
I'm
god!
like,
yeah, just like barely sip that. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I have to say about it. It is interesting though. It's just again, there's just so many things. Like I don't even really feel qualified to speak on it because it's such a cultural difference. I've never been to Tokyo. I haven't ridden the attraction there. Like,
I will say, like being there, the vibe in their critter country and with Splash Mountain, it does not give like Song of the South like Western vibes. It gives like cute and cuddly, like it's just like a critter land. Like there's like that's really it. Like it doesn't really give like frontier land. It's like kind of like its own separate thing.
yeah.
I guess that's kind of what they tried to do though at Disneyland too, but
yeah, like critter country.
yeah. Theirs feels different though. I don't know why. It's just like it's more so about the animals, I think, but and less about like the American frontier.
Yeah. I think that's fair. So you put me in the hot seat with that. I'm gonna do one for you now.
Oh god, okay.
So we've obviously talked about this up and down, back and forth, flipped it around, switched on him
That thing and reversed it.
this whole episode.
That thing down, flip it and reverse it.
Yeah, yo, bebop, hip hop till you drop. Yeah.
Yo, make a wicked cup of cocoa.
Yeah, so drink or drag, Disney making this announcement in a potentially socially, culturally, politically controversial landscape on the eve of Pride Month, having still not released their Pride collection yet, not knowing what that's going to look like this year in the United States, especially under like a broader swath of conservatism, seeing what's yet to come, knowing that this company just 2 years ago posted on every single one of their socials to all in all capitals who come to this happy place, welcome, that we stand in solidarity now and forever with the LGBTQIA plus community.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about all that? Drink or drag, Disney choosing the timing of this announcement and what's to come?
I think for the timing alone, like I do feel like I want to drag it because like Y'all couldn't wait like a little bit, like maybe like, but then again, it's like no matter, there was never going to be a good time to announce this. Probably like there was going to be like
I'd say
backlash
they
no
did it in
matter
July, and
when they
people would
did
be
it.
like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
like
you just
right after
celebrated
Pride.
Pride."
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like I guess there really probably was never going to be a good time. I do think it could have been like prefaced differently, or like I think there could have been like some more like just like I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but I feel like it was just so like we dropped this. Like there was no like warning. It was just like we're ripping off the band-aid. This is what you're getting. Like this is it. Like and there was no like preface or like just like any discussion about it. And I feel like they probably could have handled that a little better and like maybe just had like a discussion and been like, well, like we understand, like we love all like people, we love our community, we're hoping to build this area of the world as like a global hub, and like we're hoping to be like part of the story that like builds this area up into like a global destination for everybody.
welcoming
Like
to
I think
all.
like
Yeah,
exactly. Like I think they could have like positioned it very differently instead of just being like, "Oh no, we're building this new theme park in the Middle East." You know what I mean? Like I think they probably could have chosen their words, and I feel like that's really been the issue with Disney over the last couple years, is that
yeah,
like they're not like being like sensitive to their audience and their fans. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I'm going to drag it, but again, like we've discussed in this entire podcast, like I do think they probably are thinking about like those social issues and like how they can positively impact or like something along those lines in the future, but like they never made mention of that to us. It's like
yeah,
what the hell.
yeah. It's interesting.
Anyway.
I think back to, Bob Iger himself on these shareholder calls a couple years ago when these like, activist people showed up to the call and were trying to be like, oh, what about like, men and women's restrooms and stuff? And like, how are you going to show this, like vulgar LGBT like pornography to your like children or whatever? Just a completely disingenuous garbage,
Absurd.
right?
Yeah.
And he had what I felt was a really fair and really gracious response to it, which was he just was like, this company has always been about storytelling, and we are committed to telling the stories of all families, and that includes all kinds of families that look all different ways. And that talks about, Lightyear with this like, 2-second kiss between a lesbian couple, and they have a child and all of this. And it's like, I just want some more of that messaging. I just want to see some
Agreed.
more of like, we want all people to feel welcome and included here. And
To
so
be
we're going to help
fair,
like
I
usher that
think
in.
I think Daddy Bob has gotten ripped apart a lot in the recent news. I just feel like everybody is looking for a way to hate on Disney.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's going right now because they stand for such like they're very progressive in a lot of their messaging. So I think like that's probably why I feel like he's like gotten eaten alive on a lot of like calls recently.
Yeah.
The shareholders haven't been happy, so like I think he probably was just looking for like, let's just make this quick, like let's get the shareholders happy, let's like increase the stock price, like I think that's probably his mentality. But again, there just needs to be some sensitivity in these situations when you're such a big company where like people are literally looking to you. Like, I don't know.
Well, a couple things remain to be seen. Maybe, even hopefully, by the time of this episode airing, there will be some sort of Pride announcement about the collection. Before you know it, it's going to be actually Pride Month. We'll be seeing Pride Night at Disneyland. So we're going to see all the stuff come out of that. That has been like pretty much universally well received, at least by people who have actually been there and gone to it, not obviously by like trolls who were like, oh, Walt Disney be rolling in his grave. Like, shut the fuck up.
Honestly, yeah. And then I think like to myself, like, what would Walt Disney think? I mean, he was always about like pushing the needle forward with technology, with like, the future. Like, I think he probably wouldn't love a lot of recent decisions, but like this one, honestly, he probably wouldn't have like hated it.
Yeah.
I feel like this out of all of them, I feel like he'd probably be like, yeah, let's like build like the future and like push technology to new heights and all that stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, all that
Well,
said, Honestly, this was a great discussion. I was looking forward
Yeah,
to talking to you about
me
this,
too.
like, as soon as it was announced. And I'm glad that we got to talk about it. I think that, frankly, any discussion that's not an hour and 10 minutes or however the hell long this episode has been is like not, doing it justice. This is a huge deal and a huge development
Huge
in
deal.
the Walt Disney Company. And no matter how you feel about it, it deserves, respect and understanding and people being able to engage with it in a way that is like fair and, not closed minded or short sighted. So I'm glad that we got to really like get into it and talk about it. I think there's a lot to be excited about, certainly things to be concerned by or to give you pause, but I think it's good to be able to talk it out amongst friends, just between us
I
girls.
agree. In a safe space, just between us squirrel friends.
Exactly. Well, all that said, this was a fabulous episode. Thank you to all of our new friends. We've gotten so many new friends and
Yeah.
listeners coming on. We're
Hey,
so
y'all.
glad. If you made it this far into the episode, it would mean the world if you could follow us
Like,
wherever you're listening to this,
subscribe.
like and subscribe. Yeah, subscribe on YouTube. We're on YouTube. Get those visuals
Yeah,
on
watch
YouTube,
us on
honey.
YouTube.
Watch the
Look
YouTube
at our
vids.
beautiful faces.
Beautiful.
Honey, I look tired.
Like and subscribe, engage with us on socials, give us your comments and
Yeah.
your follows and likes and engagement. It means the world to us because we want to be able to keep bringing this hot takes and great content to you. But truly, thank you so much.
Hot cakes too.
Hot cakes, honey. Yes, please. I love it. But until next time, this was Ears to It. I'm Eric,
And I'm Nick.
and we'll see you real
Talk to you
soon.
soon.
Bye bye.